Monday, August the 12th, 2024. I can't believe it's nearly the middle of August. Boy, time goes by fast. And let me tell you, time goes by much faster when you're older. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. And I think one of them is that in general, you can't work as long a days and you don't get as much done in a day. I used to do 2-3 times as much in a day as I can do now. But that's just the way it is. So I'm here in the apiary, of course. I've got my little tractor. I've got that observation hive on here. I'm going to put those bees back in the hive whence they came. And I think what I'm going to do, because they've been in there, I put them there on Wednesday. So we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's been in there for 5 days. The bees in the hive might have kind of forgotten who the queen is. So I think I'm going to pick her up and put her in a cage with some candy. And she can sit in there for a couple days before she gets back to work. She's been working hard in this hive. So she's got a couple of frames of brood to go with her. And so that should really help them accept her. I think I have had that situation in the past where I'll put a queen back in the hive after being in the observation hive, and then I can't find the queen after a while. So I just want to keep her safe. She seems to be doing good. I don't know what her fate is. I don't know if she'll build up enough to winter. Typically swarms, like that was a swarm that took off from here. I captured it just on a little tree here. And a lot of times they don't winter, so I shouldn't stress about them too much. But the other job here today is a big job, and that's going to employ my Backsaver 6100, and I'm going to set some escapes. And not only am I going to set escapes, these colonies, as you may know, these are single brood chamber, right? So these are single brood chamber and then honey supers. So there's a queen excluder here, so I need to set the escape right where I can take the queen excluder out and put the escape, because the queen's not going to go up through the escape. So I can do that, but what I'm going to do is, you've heard me perhaps talk about wintering some colonies outdoors. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert some of these to doubles. I've got a whole whack of feed frames in my building over here, and I'm going to do a 2-step process here. I'll pick up all the honey, set it aside, then get the hive lifter and pick up one of those heavy feed boxes, and put that on top of the single. And then I'll put the escape, and then I'll put the honey boxes back on that. So then I'll have a double with an escape and the honey boxes. So I'm thinking that should probably work. I've talked to my mentor about that, and he seems to think it's probably a pretty good chance, because the feed boxes are very full, and there's a little space in the center in most of them for a little nest, and the queen can move up into that second and lay that up, and then those bees, as they emerge, will make up the winter cluster. Winter bees is a term that is been thrown into question by some experts, and so I use it sparingly, winter bees. But when I say winter bees, I just mean the bees that are going to live through winter. So this is what we got to do. I got to get my veil and take that hive apart. They're generally not too happy when you take that glass out of that hive, so I have to make sure I have my veil and my smoker handy. Okay, let's get at this. I don't remember where I got the queen from. It's one of these two. That's got 5 frames in it, so I don't think it was that one. That means I have to lift these 2 boxes off. Now, there's next to nothing in that box. Next to nothing, no kidding, there's only 3 foundation frames in it. I think I just kind of in a panic set that up there to keep the frames out of the weather. Yeah, there's nothing in that one. This one's full though too. I'm pretty sure she came out of here though. So, because there's only really one frame. It'll be a warm day. It's not late, and it's getting above 20 C now. Yeah, see, as you know, you take the queen away and they start building queen cells, so this is quite certainly where she came from. So we'll hunt down the queen cells. It's a nice little pattern going here. I don't have any more. I'll just double check that there's no eggs in here. Okay. So I want a quick look to see if I can find the queen. She's marked green. I don't see her, so she might be on the other side, which I'm hoping she is, because when I pull this up, there's a lot of bees come with it, and it's not good for them, and they don't like it. See, I have to kind of go back and forth a bit. This fat honey frame on the top is causing me problems. Bees are rolling up in it. All right. Now, it's hard for me to do it from the side, but I'll try just so you can see what's going on. I can take my J hook and get in there and just release this frame. And when I see the queen, I have to grab her and put her in that cage. I don't see her here. Process of elimination, she's probably on this frame. There she is. Right here. I'm going to lay this down. You'll be able to see it. I don't think I need attendants in there, but it's pretty easy, so I think I want to do that. Pop that back open. The attendants is the ones you have to watch because they got that stinger. Get in there. I wish I could show you this better, but get in all. You know what? I'm gonna stop at 2. I don't know that she really needs them. I find that bees like to go up, especially queens, so get her to go up there so she doesn't get caught in the door. All right, so I've got my queen. I think what I need to do is I need to bring a polystyrene box over here and transfer this, because it's not a very robust hive. There's a lot of free space. Just put that cage right there, and that's it. You really have to watch these black foundation frames. Even with the sun right now, it's melting the wax on that. I'm going to come and do that transfer later. So I'm just going to put all this back on here. There's nothing in it. Just have to store the frames somewhere, basically. And I'll come and take care of them a little later. There's a lot of head space there, but I don't have high beetle pressure, and it's not real cold. It gets kind of cold at night though. Last night it was 9 C, which is below 50 F. So it's getting cool. And I'll just put this in a honey super in the apiary here. It's pretty well ready to go. Something else I need to do is this swarm. This is the one that was on the wagon. They've made some honey for me, but I want to use that box. This box I've got that bottom board screwed to it, and a queen excluder on the entrance, and that's kind of what I use for catching swarms. But I want to use it for another swarm that's over there. So I have to transfer this anyway, so I'm going to do that now. I'll just get another box for there. And again, I don't hold up much hope for swarms, but you gotta do something right. Nothing else, the swarm will draw a box of foundation and maybe makes you some honey. She's laying. Not very hard though, boy, there's a lot of empty space. It's the season, I guess. Dry brood. That honey flow definitely is gone. That's going to make harvest more difficult. I need to move up my harvest timing. There's a queen over here, marked a nice green dot. More of a nest on this side. I don't know what this is. Looks like it was a cell. So we'll see. Oh, I just went to push on it to move those frames, and it was not holding up. And I thought, that's kind of strange. It's a Maxon hive tool. It feels like a Chinese hive tool. Well, it is a Chinese hive tool. That's a Chinese hive tool. They've got a nice curve to them, like that. But turn it over, you can curve it back. I've got my Backsaber 6100 here. I brought out a pallet of feed frames, feed boxes. I think that's it there. Yeah, it's hard to see in the little camera display. And now I need to just start doing this row. I think for good measure, I'd better do a queen check, because I don't want to bother putting a feed box on here, wasting a feed box. If there's no queen, I'll have to deal with that. I either have to combine, or I don't think I can introduce queens at this time. I don't think I would bother. I don't have enough time for them to prove themselves and, start building up for winter and whatnot. So I think if there is any queenless, they're going to get combined or shaken out or something, depending on how bad they are. And this one says check queen July 26th. I think I did. It's got 2 honey supers on it. So I'm assuming they're okay, but we'll check. And also, while I work, I'll take these little sticks out. Not only is it probably not necessary now, although I can see this hive, they're using this entrance as a vent. They're fanning there to fan the honey. But when I set an escape, I can't have an upper entrance because the bees will vacate, and then the other colonies will rob that out in short order. Okay, here we go. Turn my switch on. Now you can see this will balance here. I can just set that aside because if there's no queen in here, I won't put a second on it. In which case, if I'm not putting a second, I don't need to set it down. And I don't think I need to put these excluders back on if there's going to be an escape on there. This doesn't look good. There's only bees here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, there's larvae there. And there's laying going on here. When there's old cells on the bottom, you know, if they went through a requeen or something, even if they swarmed, they have old cells on the bottom. I like to take them off so that they don't confuse me later on as to what's going on. Well, I think they're okay. Certainly not boomers, but there's a lot of bees up in the honey supers too, so maybe I shouldn't panic. All right, that one will get a feed box. So I'll set these honey supers down. Sometimes people ask how high this lifter will lift. It'll lift that high. So that's 2, 3. That's the 4th box over the stand. And it seems like it's high enough, but sometimes I wish it would go a little higher. If it went higher, it would be harder to handle. So maybe I should be careful what I wish for. All right, instant double. So I use an escape board, and I use 2 different styles. This style I build, and I have another video on this that explains them, and some build videos. This is just a triangular labyrinth of sorts. So you put this on this way, and the bees will find their way down here. They want to go down and commune with the queen. And then the only way they can get out is through the ends of the triangles here. And when they want to go back up, they sense the honey here and they try to go back up, and they don't realize that they need to go around here. They're actually quite effective. And this style is equally as effective. It's the same kind of an idea. I have to clean that out. This style uses a lot more of this hardware cloth. So this stuff is a little bit expensive. And the bees go down into this trough and find their way out through these cones. And then the same thing, when they try to go back up, they want to go back up through here. They don't realize that they need to go through here. And the fact that this is a cone helps, deter them from actually figuring that out. So the key with all these escapes is to be sure you put them right way up. One of the benefits of this style is that it's a two-piece side. It's got the main body and it's got a shim on top that goes on top of the screen to hold it down. So when I put this on here and I look from the side, I can see that shim. I can see that it's the right way up. This kind I can't. So I can't see from the side which way up this is. I think the sun has bleached them off, but typically I've drawn a magic marker arrow on these to show me, because after I set a yard, I like to just walk around and eyeball my escapes and make sure all the arrows are pointing up. Okay, I'll get my honey boxes and put them on top of there. You know what I didn't do? I often do this, I take things for granted. And I realize you don't have a good shot of what's going on here. It's just the honey boxes. But sometimes I take for granted how ready the honey is. It's pretty ready. I can usually stomach quite a bit of uncapped honey because the capped honey is generally pretty dry. I didn't bring my refractometer out. They're just kind of getting going on the cappings. I think it'll be fine. I can dry a little bit of moist honey in the honey house before I extract. Now, this is where things get a little harder. Where the last one had 2 boxes, this has got 4. I can lift 4, I just really hate lifting 4. It gets difficult to handle with the machine. It's a beautiful day out here. It's a bit warm for a Canadian. I'll back this up. It's 25°C, it's about 68% humidity when I came out. This top box really isn't much of anything, to be honest. It's a bunch of story frames and a bunch of foundation. Yeah, there's really nothing of value in there. Yeah, you can kind of tell that frames that look like that are ready to go. So now we got 3 boxes, that's a little better. quick queen check here. The bird chambers often look so sparse because I think there's just a lot of the bees either out or up in the honey supers. That's right full of pollen. Holy smokes. Story frame is right full of pollen in the center. It looks like she's laid up drones on the sides. Well, that's kind of pointless this time of year. Lots of pollen and some sealed brood. I think they're queen right because I'm pretty sure I saw drone eggs. For what they're worth. Oh yeah, she's laying nicely. This is one of the 3 remaining colonies from overwintered. It looks like she's doing well. Okay, we'll give them a feed box. And I know you can't see that. Escape board. And then these 3 honey supers on top of that. The tricky part is getting the boxes centered when you drop them. Well, by some accounts, I probably didn't get very far. It's just hot and humid and I can't hack too much of this. So I set just this first row, and you say how many is in a row? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stands, and there's 4 on a stand, and there's 1 missing at the end. There's 1 more that I shook out. It was queenless. So that's 22 total here, and that doesn't sound like very much, and it's not really very much, but it's a little bit more work when I'm putting these seconds on here. So I put seconds on quite a few. There were some queenless ones I didn't put seconds on. I just put the escape to get the bees out. And when I'm not putting seconds on, it'll go faster. And I think I had a total of about 30, I'm gonna say 38 or so seconds. So I'm most of the way through the seconds now. I won't have another row of seconds. So I think that'll determine how many I winter outdoors this year. It looks like it'll be 30, I don't know, I'm gonna say 34, 36 maybe 38 outdoors. Hopefully it'll be an even number because it's 2-way pallets, right? Okay, I'm gonna pack it in. I have a few other things to clean up, and I see I still have to put my observation hive away. Don't want that to get rained on. And then I'm going to pick this up again tomorrow. I'll try and start a little bit earlier tomorrow, because this whole week is going to be a bit warm. So maybe I can start early tomorrow and get a bit more done before the temperatures rise too much. It rose. It was 9C. Well, it was 9C last night, and it rose in about a half an hour. It rose from that to almost 20. When the sun comes up, it starts getting really hot, or it starts going up really fast. So anyway, we'll pick this up again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. It's Tuesday, August the 13th, 2024. It's another hot day. And again, not extremely hot, but it's hot and full sun. So the sun sure makes a difference on a person. I got 1 row done yesterday, as mentioned. Got this row done yesterday. I'm working on this row. I don't know how many escapes I have. I think I have enough to set these 2 rows for sure, and maybe get into some of the nukes. So we'll see. The bees are definitely starting to rob any open honey or syrup, and that does make work more difficult. Yesterday I was over there just organizing some pallets, and I hadn't touched anything, but I just walked over there, and a yellow jacket come along and stung me in the right leg, just above the ankle, and it really hurt a lot, but it really swelled up. I was quite uncomfortable last night, and my lower leg is still quite stiff. So it just goes to show you the difference in chemistry with the different kinds of nectar and different kinds of venom. I got a bumblebee sting a few weeks ago, and it was the same thing. It was very painful. The sting was very painful, but I did get a bit of swelling, not as much as these yellow jackets. But just about 5 minutes ago, I got stung in the left foot by a yellow jacket, and I know it was a yellow jacket. I didn't see her, but I can tell the difference between a honeybee and a yellow jacket. Those yellow jacket stings really hurt bad, and they get away. It's not a barbed stinger. They get away on you. The first one, I smashed that one, so that made me feel good inside, but still hurt outside. Anyway, we're gonna tackle these today. I've got some more boxes here to put on. I've got 16, 17, 18, maybe 18 or 19 seconds to put on here, and that's it. I'm wore out just thinking about this, and I have a concern here with my lifter. My lifter is getting a few years old, and it sits outside a lot, so the tires are starting to age. I think I can find those tires pretty easily. I think they're just a Princess Auto tire, but what I need to do is take the specs off them and get a set of tires so that I can change them at a moment's notice as they're starting to crack. I went to air them up, one of them getting a bit low, and I went to air them up, and I found that one of them has a pretty good crack in it. They're a tube tire though, so they should be okay. The tubes inside should be fine if the tire holds the tube in. Anyway, let's get to work here. Just a quick queen check. I lost track of the source of this queen. It says it's a 24, but that's all I know. I'm gonna have plastic queen excluders for sale if anybody wants any. And there's only one really good reason that would make me not want them. They are priced very attractively, and that's why I use them. However, they make this job harder than it needs to be. They don't crack off of the boxes. They weld themselves to honey super. Now, why they don't weld themselves to the brood chamber, I don't know. So I see an emerged cell up here. I see something or other here. I guess that's an old emerged cell. Now something, I was talking to Todd, Loma Vista Bee Company. I'll put a link to his channel up here. He's out in California, and I was just mentioning something I noticed yesterday, that I can, when I do my queen check, smoke the bees off of the top bars, and I can actually put my hands on the top bars, and I can tell if they're brooding, and I believe there's brood here just from the temperature. So I can see some drone brood here in the story frame, and that's all pollen. So there's pollen, solid pollen right in the center, and that's not a good sign. And the difference brooding to non-brooding. There's a little bit of sealed brood here yet. I'm not sure I'm seeing any eggs. The difference is about 5 degrees C, 6 degrees C, and that's 8 or 9. Actually, I think it's 10 degrees F is the difference between a colony temperature that's brooding and it's not brooding. I mean, I haven't read that, I've observed that. Yeah, I'm not seeing eggs. I'm seeing just a few cells of sealed brood here. So that tells me that maybe they have not had a queen in a while. And sometimes, I've checked some of these, and sometimes I'll check through a few frames and just ready to give up, and then I see a few eggs. She's just started laying. So I like to check it thoroughly before I condemn them. Quite a few emerged cells, but those are supersedures, so it appears that they tried to requeen and it probably didn't work out for them, which can be the case. Requeening is not a sure thing, because I think the virgin will kill the incumbent queen before she mates, and if she doesn't mate, well, colony is lost. Okay, so this one's not going to get a double because it's got no queen. These are all plastic queen excluders on this side, I think. Just makes the job a little more difficult. I'm sure somebody's going to say in the comments, oh, the plastic queen excluders tear the wings. They don't tear the wings. If anybody's got pictures of that happening or the result of that, I'd be interested to see, because I don't think it's a thing. Personally, I think it's something people say to sell metal queen excluders. Okay, we'll do that again. This one's a little more populated. Looks pretty nice. This is a Randy Oliver 24. They're not very warm. And I see no brood in the center. This next one I think has some sealed brood on it. And again, some old emerged cells. I like to take them out because, once I've seen them, so I don't think later on that they're new. Same thing, they've got a little tiny bit of sealed brood, but in another few days they'll be laying workers. So that 160 colonies I quoted is shrinking. I can see sealed brood in here already, so I'm pretty sure they're good. We'll take a quick gander anyway. They were good a week ago anyway. Look at that. That's beautiful. I just want to check a little further to see if they've got any cells or anything going. I always like to see eggs or open brood as well. I'm thinking this one might not have a queen either. Either that or they're in the middle of a requeen, because I did see cells, emerged cells. I'm sorry, I know you can't see. I'm just on the tear here. There's just some juicy cells here, and it's a bad time to try to requeen. They don't have a queen, they're probably not going to have one. I just want to know who to feed and who not to feed. I'm not going to feed a colony that doesn't have a queen. That there is what you call fool's errand. No, there's no queen in here. There's a slab of brood or two, but there's no eggs. She laid her heart out just before she terminated. See, there's another one. It's really nice. No eggs. This lifter does literally heavy lifting for you, but it also still takes a lot of strength to maneuver it. Especially if you get more than 1 or 2 boxes on it. It'll take 4. I've done 4, but that's not a good idea. It's too difficult. It'll lift it though. Not encouraged by this one either. Wow. I might have a whole set of 4 here with no queen. Well, there's young larvae there. And I see an egg. So I'm going to leave them alone. And I'll put a second on that. It's Friday, August 16th, 2024. Just a quick update before I close this off for the week. My brain is working a little slower than sometimes it is. I'm not known for being the quickest thinker, but today is a little bit more slowly than some days, and I'll tell you all about that. But this section of the apiary is still in escapes. I even forget what day I did that. I think it was Tuesday. I set those escapes. Wednesday I went to Ian's just to pick up the last of some equipment that was left there after the whole zombie nuke process was complete. I've been using my half ton all summer, well, pretty well since then, because the last time I drove my big truck was to Ian's, and that was in May. So I've been using my half ton, and it doesn't have a very big bed on it, so it can't haul very much stuff. And the 1 ton, the big truck, just needed a little bit of work, so I got that work done now. The truck is in really great shape now. And so I did that on Wednesday and Thursday. It rained all day, so I mostly worked in the honey house all day Thursday. I'm kind of demoralized about it, because there just always seems to be something. You know, you can't just boom do something. It's always seems to be, well, I don't have the right thing, I gotta go to town, you know, on and on. So Thursday, but my Thursday kind of ended in an unexpected way. It was about 5 o'clock. I'll back up a little bit, and on I don't know what it was, Monday or Tuesday, I took a sting to the leg by a yellow jacket here in the apiary, and it was kind of lower right leg, and boy, that was painful. That hurts a lot worse than a honeybee, and I actually ended up with a little bit of swelling in my leg and my upper foot as a result, and that's all cleared up. Well, was a day or two later, took a sting to the left leg just above the ankle. And I thought, what in the world? In 9 years, I've been stung by a yellow jacket once before now. And here I get stung twice in almost as many days. Well, on Thursday, about 5 o'clock, I was working with some stuff over here, not even near the apiary. And there were a lot of yellow jackets in whatever I was messing with. And I got tagged 3 times. I got tagged twice in the arm. I don't know if you can see, but this arm is still a bit swollen. And I got the first one, I got right on the end of the nose. And I'll tell you, that did hurt, but more than it hurt, the after effect, the swelling and the itching and the tightness and whatnot was very rapid. Within an hour and a half or something, I could barely see. So you may notice that my face is actually still a bit swollen, but not near what it was. And I'll show you the picture of what it was about 10 o'clock that evening. It was about 5 hours after I got stung. Actually, it wasn't quite 10 o'clock. It might have been about 9:30. But I'm going to warn you, it's not a pretty picture. It's actually quite hilarious, because I was fine. Other than it was uncomfortable and I was ugly. So I'll show you that picture here. So what I did was, the honeybee stings don't bother me at all. I mean, they hurt a bit, but they don't, my body doesn't react. And I'm not bragging about that. I'm very thankful for it, because it's nothing that I've done. It's nothing, you know, I didn't study for that. I didn't work for that. It's just how my body reacts, or the lack of reaction. But, you know, this yellow jacket venom is a little different recipe than the honeybees, and my body reacts to that. However, not anaphylactic reaction. So I'm about 20 miles from the hospital, and about an hour after I got stung, this was getting really bad. The itching was just incredible. I wanted to tear my hair out. I wanted to cut all my hair off. I had a cold shower to try to satiate that a bit. It didn't help much, but it did help, I guess. So when I did that, I was kind of contemplating my next move, and I wasn't sure, because my face was swelling so much, and my nose kind of swelled shut. I couldn't really breathe through my nose, and I was conscious to keep conscious of my tongue swelling, hard to breathe, that kind of thing, and I never had any of that. So, but that's what I was afraid of. So with this dramatic reaction in my face and my head, I was just worried that boy, if this goes any worse, I could be in big trouble. So I called to my wife and I said, come on, we're going to hospital. So we drove into hospital, and I didn't have a real plan there. I didn't need to, burst in on the scene and say, help me, I'm in distress, because I was never really worried, because I could feel that I was breathing just fine, and that's what I would be concerned with. Swelling and stuff otherwise is not a big deal. That goes away, other than being grotesque, as you've seen. So I kind of thought, in a way, we could just go and get some takeout, or we could just go and sit in the parking lot of the hospital for an hour or two, just to make sure this didn't deteriorate. But we got there, and I walked into emergency, and I said, I don't know if I really need to see a doctor, but this is what happened. So they checked me in, and they got me in the system and whatnot. And as I sat there, it actually got worse. And I think the people who were working there thought it was a lot worse than than I thought it was, because I wasn't, looking at myself. But I was taking a selfie about every hour, just to see how it progressed. So it was about 9:30 when I could feel, about 9 o'clock to 9:30, I could feel this just loosening up a bit. I could kind of feel my cheeks I could start to see a little better. My eyes were really squinty. And so I went up to the desk, and I said to the ladies that are working there, I said, I think this is loosening up. I think we can probably just go home. And she said, yeah, it looks like it's coming down a little bit. And so I was just going to make the move to say, okay, we're going to walk out. And the guy called my name. So we went into the room. I talked to the doctor. He didn't tell me anything I didn't know, but he did the check, say and all that kind of stuff. And so he prescribed me a little bit stronger antihistamine. And so I just filled that today. There was no pharmacies open last night. So I filled that today, and I took one when I got home. I feel pretty normal, other than, like, this arm, like I said, it's still swollen a bit, and it does get a little bit itchy, So we've got a cream that we got from the pharmacy to put on that, just to kind of satiate some of that itchiness. The itchiness is one of the worst. I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't stand myself because it's so itchy. But localized itch, right? It's not itchy in places that isn't near the sting site. So that's kind of the key, I'm not a doctor, and I will not give you medical advice. However, what I do believe to be true is there's about 5 or 6 different levels of this reaction thing that you could have. My reaction to honeybee stings, ouch, that hurts. And that's pretty well the end of it. There's different places you can get stung that hurts more. I've found that on the palm of my hand, if I get stung on the palm of my hand, I just about black out. It hurts so much, but that's the end of it. In 5 minutes, that's it, right? I might feel a little tender at the sting site for a day or two, but not really anything of consequence. I always say mosquito bites are worse because they'll itch for a long time. So there's that, and then there's a localized reaction, and that's what I have here. It's a localized reaction. I think I got stung here, and I got stung under the arm here. And so that's just localized swelling. That's what happened to my face, right? It was just my face, localized swelling. And then there's another level that's a little more what they call a systemic reaction. And that's where you get stung, say, on your leg, and then your whole body gets itchy, right? So that's more of a systemic thing going on. But the level that you need to be worried about is the next level. You might be worried about the systemic thing because that's kind of on the verge of something more, concerning. The anaphylaxis. You get stung in your leg and suddenly you can't breathe. right? Your tongue swells up and you start having a hard time breathing. That's when you need EpiPen and stuff like that, which we have. We have EpiPens. Just because beekeepers can become allergic to bee stings at any time. I say, well, they don't bother me. And then the next day I'm laying on the ground because I got stung and I had a crazy reaction to it. So anyway, those are different stages of reactions as far as I know. Don't take your medical advice from me. Don't have a reaction and then say, well, Brad said this is nothing and I don't have to go to the hospital. If you feel you need to go to the hospital, go to the hospital. I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to me. I'm just kind of talking about, this is my understanding of how this kind of works. So that's my caveat there. Yeah, so they did have me on a few different kinds of, before we left home, I took a dose of Benadryl, which is, it's kind of an old time antihistamine. It's actually, I was looking at some different products and you can see a lot of sleep aids like Unisom and Sleep Ease and even NyQuil. And it's all the same, and Benadryl, it's all the same thing. It's exactly the same chemical, exactly the same dosages and all that kind of stuff. The difference being in that list is that NyQuil has acetaminophen with it. So you can look at any of those. If you got Sleep Ease and you don't have Benadryl, take the Sleep Ease because it's exactly the same product. It's just a different name. So that's what I've noticed with the products that I have, that the same chemical is listed for all of those products. But it's kind of an old-timey thing, and it makes you drowsy, obviously, if it's a sleep aid. And then, so the doctor prescribed one that was, I think it's called citrazine. And the pharmacist said that it's pretty advanced, it's one of the newest, it doesn't, normally make you drowsy, and it lasts 24 hours sort of thing. So anyway, suffice it to say that I was in the hospital. They gave me a couple of different pills to help with the swelling. And so I was, I wasn't out, but I was just a little loopy until midday today kind of thing. By noon today, by mid-morning, I could drive easy enough. It wasn't a problem there. But my biggest concern yesterday driving was I couldn't see. So it wasn't that I was loopy. It was just that I had a hard time. I couldn't look down. I could look at you like this, but this was swollen so much that I couldn't look down. So that's my big adventure over the last 24 hours. So today I had to go to town and get some more things, get my prescription, and work in the honey house all day today. And I'm wore out. I'm tired of it. I'm frustrated, with so many different things, trying to do things and stuff doesn't work out. And, but I am making progress. I did get a lot of stuff done. That's good. I might have to do some more work in there tomorrow, but I might be able to tackle some of this honey harvest. And I have to because all of my escapes are out here. I need to harvest this honey, get it in the honey house, then set those escapes on the rest of this honey, and take the escapes to the outyards and set them there. And I think I've got just enough escapes to set my larger outyard here. So it's going to take me a while to pull this honey yet. I have to be diligent next week and really get a lot of it in. I just did a little quick spot check on some of these. And honestly, even though I set these on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's 3 days they've been in there. There's a lot of bees up in the top still. I mean, not tons of bees, but there's definitely, more bees than I want to have in there. So maybe tomorrow I can come and look at them and, I get the fume boards out or something. I kind of have a progression of attack on this. I'll use escapes. Then I'll come to harvest. I'll bring my fume boards along. If there's some supers that didn't clear, I'll just stick some fume boards on, but hopefully it's a sunny day because they work better a sunny day. And if fume boards don't work for whatever reason, I'll get the leaf blower out. I don't like using a leaf blower, but what are you going to do? You take the bees back to honey house, and they don't fare very well in there either. So, suffice it to say, that is my Friday, and that's the week. And I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for being a part of this adventure and this amazing rebuild here. It's you know, people say, "Well, it's amazing," and you're right. I can't believe it myself, but that's is what it is. So you think it's really bright out here because I'm squinting, but that's only half true. It's just I'm still a bit swollen here. So we'll leave it at that, and I will thank you for watching, and I'll do more of this next week. So thanks for spending your Saturday morning with me. I really appreciate it. Take care and have fun.